Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a very unique experience here at Middlesex Community College, an open forum with President Dr. James Mabry. Many of you may not know me, but my name is Miranda Fahey, and I have the honor of serving as the MCC student representative on the College Board of Trustees for the upcoming academic year. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from MCC's Paralegal Study program in May, and I'm currently enrolled in the Accounting Certificate program. At MCC, I've served as co-president of the Paralegal Student Association and member of the Women's Leadership Network, where I've helped to facilitate events and participate in insightful discussions. The confidence I've developed as a member of this institution has fueled my passion to serve. I appreciate the opportunity to partner with MCC committees to strengthen the relationship between my peers, the greater college community, and all. Now that I've told you a little bit about myself, I will tell you a bit more about our president. As many of you know, President Mabry joined MCC this past February as the fourth president in the college's 45-year history and came to us from Mesa, Arizona. Since his arrival here, he's been focusing a great deal on attention on meeting and working with students and has worked with the cabinet team to ensure that so much of what is being done is geared towards helping students enjoy success from day one. After a successful opening day on Tuesday that served as an orientation for the college's more than 2,700 new and incoming students, he also wanted to spend a few minutes today with faculty and staff to outline some of his plans for this coming year. So on behalf of both the Middlesex Community College Board of Trustees as well as the student body, I am proud and honored to be able to introduce to you today President James Mabry.
It is so nice to have a welcome like that from a student here at the college. It really is important to send that message that students are front and center. Now, I asked for a mic that I could rove with, and we left the cordless ones out there. But like many of you in the classroom, you don't like being trapped behind a podium. You like to be really out and connected with your constituency. So, that's what I'm going to try to do today, really have a conversation with you. I'm going to talk for about 15, 20 minutes and then answer your questions. So it really is great to see everybody back on campus. I mean, it is so exciting, these opening days, with all the students back on campus, all eager to learn, all really excited, somewhat nervous, and really getting started on a new semester. So I really thought we had a great opening day on Tuesday. And I really want to thank all the people who participated in putting that together. First, I want to thank our wonderful facilities people for all they work to make the campuses really beautiful. Not only can they shovel snow, but they can really make places look really good. They have done a tremendous job for us here. And the student affairs folks who really put together a day that was fantastic and student-centered. So we really appreciate all that rethinking that went on, all the new planning that went on, and the activities that came off that were really good. You folks did a great job, and we really appreciate that. And last, about opening day for now, I just want to shout out to all the dedicated faculty who did orientation sessions, who talked with passion about their disciplines, and really connected with the students. It was great to see you out there. You did a great job. Thanks a lot. Now, the goal of opening day was really one that was based on the research that shows us that students who get connected to the college, and that connection can be in many, many different ways, that those students who are connected are ones who do better. They succeed at much higher rates. And so we structured the activities in that day to build connections. Now, we have to give them some guidance and some pathways. So we give them the information up here on how they need to succeed, what they'll have to do, and those steps they'll have to take. But we really try to connect them down here. We're really working in that affective domain to get them to feel like this is a place they belong. Remember, almost half our students are first generation. They're all coming to the school. They're very unsure of who they are and are they going to fit in. The more we can tell them from opening day, from the first day, that they belong, that this is a place for them, the more we'll see them succeed. So I think all of us did a good job of connecting with those students on that day, and this helps build their connections and will help them be more successful. Now we're going to track these students because we know everybody who came. You know, they all had their badges on, so we know who picked up those badges, and we will track them and see how this impacts opening day. Now, this was the first time we did this, and Pam and her crew have a long list of things they want to change and do better. But I think that we're going to have an ongoing dialogue about this, so if you have ideas about how we could do this better, get them to Pam, get them to Rebecca, get them to people. We will really try to make this a better day the next time around, but I think the core of it was really successful. Okay, on a personal note here, I want to introduce Judy Mabry, my wife. She's my trusted advisor, a complete support system in one person, my partner in life, and just, I think, an all-around wonderful woman. So it's really great that she could join us today. We didn't really get a chance to wander too far this summer. You know, we're just getting settled in, but we did get out to the Massachusetts coast a couple of times. We did see that there is an ocean out there, right? And we got up to Kennebunkport, Maine. We even got a boat ride up there. That was really quite good. So we've been, you know, exploring the area and really getting to know the area around the college. We had one trip back to New York to my hometown for the 4th of July. My brother had a family reunion back there. So I got to watch the 4th of July parade in front of the house that I grew up in, a house my grandfather built in 1927. So that was kind of fun to do that. But the rest of it's been pretty local. One of our activities has been hitting up the farm stands and checking out the local produce. I haven't had sweet corn like this in years, right? And they have pretty good tomatoes at some of these farm stands, but the really good tomatoes come from Donna, right? And if she keeps bringing these in, I'm going to have to buy her like some new hiking boots or something, you know, because they are really fantastic. So, you know, for people like us who like to cook, well, Judy likes to cook. I grill a bit, right? You know, getting the fresh produce and getting out and meeting some of the people at these stands and at these farms has been a lot of fun. We've been getting out on our bicycles a little bit and getting out. I'm starting to log some miles on the weekend, and this has been a great way to see the area. We've been enjoying this warm weather and are really looking forward to our first New England fall in a couple of years, but I am really sure that the snow is only like 2 weeks away. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about how I've been spending my time. Over the summer, I've been on both campuses. I think many of you have seen me, both in Lowell and in Bedford. I'm still enjoying the absolute differences between them. It's really just you know, fun having the two totally different environments. And I can assure you that I will continue to be visible and accessible on both campuses. I can't tell you how much I enjoy those informal interactions that go on when I meet you, when I get a chance to talk to you. Although I have to say, suddenly this week it became hard to get anything done on the 5th floor in Lowell because the math department was back and it was, you know, so noisy up there. And, you know, around noon the other day, it was so animated, I had to go have lunch with them, right? So it was, what was that, Mike, trying to be sophisticated? Okay, and demure. Okay, sophisticated and I'm not quite sure how that works together, but nobody's ever called me demure. All right. Okay. Also, this summer, Judy and I have been out to quite a few local events. One I'd like to highlight coming up is Bedford Day on Saturday the 19th. That'll be a lot of fun. And one other recommendation is the Merrimack Repertory Theater, the MRT in Lowell, has a new production called The Lion. Great show. I mean, really good show, really worth going to see. So I could highly recommend that. So this fall, I can see my calendar is already starting to fill up with community events. We're at a breakfast this morning where the governor spoke about the opioid addiction crisis, but there are going to be many events like that that we'll be participating in as I build those connections in the community. I thought I was looking around the room today and actually talking to quite a few different people, and it dawned on me sort of at a certain point that I knew a lot of people in the room and that I've met so many new people. There are so many people in our communities here that are committed to making this a better place, that are really here to really try and solve the problems that we have and solve them together. Most of my time, though, and most of my energy is really going to be spent on the institutional issues that are important to this college and working to achieve the strategic priorities that we develop together. That's going to be really critical and really important throughout the year. So let me set the stage a little bit for this fall semester. So the first 7 months of my tenure here have been an interesting journey for me and for the college. I've made some changes, and I've made them to really try to build a focused and cohesive leadership team at the college. I'm really trying to build a creative team that can support all the dedicated individuals that we have at this college. And we've been talking about this. How do we create among ourselves this creative dialogue that helps tap into the ideas that you have and that we can formulate together at this college? And that I want this dialogue to be going on all the time. When I talk about being accessible, to me that's part of my leadership philosophy about how do I engage with you? How do I be accessible? Because you never know where those great ideas are going to come from. And we need to be listening to you, and then we need to be finding the resources to act upon the things that are people trying to accomplish here. So that's really important that we do. Now, I believe that we are in a place where we're really going to move forward very quickly, and we're going to tackle those issues that we think are most important to promote student success. Now, this is already a great college, and this is a place that has really taken the lead on stepping up and really addressing some of the key issues that are out there. I have to applaud the whole college for taking on building a student-centered schedule. I know this is a huge enterprise, this is a huge activity, this takes a lot of leadership, a lot of hard work, but also you really have to know that I support this very much because I really believe it is about the students. That's what we're here for, to really support student success. It's an ongoing process, one that is still eliciting feedback and trying to improve. We'll never stop doing that, but very important. We also have just put out a new strategic enrollment plan that called 10 by 20, which will help keep us on track with our enrollment projections, which will keep us reaching out to key constituent groups within our community and really help us to meet the needs of our communities. So the team we have here is really working to do some exciting things, but we can only do them together. So some highlights for the fall semester. First, I just want to highlight that I thought opening day was a great start for our students and really worked well. We're trying out this opening forum. We'll see how this works. Again, all of these things we're going to assess, we're going to digest, we're looking for your feedback and see how we can do them better. Coming up this Saturday on the 12th, we've got National River Day, and we've got the U.S. Secretary of the Interior, Jewel, here with Representative Nikki Tsongas. So Congresswoman Tsongas is always a champion of the college, and it's wonderful that she is going to showcase us when we have a cabinet secretary here, and that will be a good event on Saturday. Also, coming up this fall, we have the strategic planning review going on, where we're going to be doing a mission and vision review, and where we're going to really engage in an inclusive and comprehensive planning process, where we can work together to develop the goals, directions, and strategies for the next few years here at the college. It'll kick off on October 2nd, and we're having a speaker from Harvard Graduate School of Education on strategic planning, and that should be a really good event. On October 15th is Inauguration Day, and we'll start that off with a wellness event. You're all welcome to join me for the 5K in the morning, all right? What do you think, Jonathan, about 8? Okay, nice early run out there. Should be a beautiful day. We'll have the ceremony here in this beautiful tent again. And then in the late afternoon from 4 to 6, we'll be having a scholarship fundraising event at Nesmith House. What I can tell you about the fundraising event is all the money collected there will go directly to scholarships for students. Judy and I are starting a scholarship fund, and what I can say is that as long as we're here, we are going to be raising money for scholarships. And we're really going to try and promote a scholarship that helps a student finish their degree and transfer. So we're shaping the parameters, but it'll be about how do we provide that crucial assistance so a student can go full-time to complete their AA degree and then transfer. So we look for participation in that. So lots of good things, but there's also a few disappointments I want to share with you, because we need to know the good and the bad of what's going on here. So the biggest disappointment has been that with the new administration, they pulled the plug on financing for 19 of 21 building projects left at community colleges, and that included our biotechnology building, $27 million building that we were planning here for the Bedford campus. So all we know is that the project has been stopped at this point. We're hoping that it's going to be restarted. We're doing our best to reach out and try and influence these decisions as much as possible. That won't come really till the next budget cycle, but it's really too bad, because we had worked hard with a great and talented architectural firm, and really it is unfortunate that this will not go forward after so much work, so much effort, and we really had gotten our hopes up that we could do some great things for our students and also be a wonderful partner in producing a workforce for our industries in this area. Second, that also meant that the $10 million that had been set aside for a new academic building in Lowell, that has been set aside at this point too. So we won't be able to move forward with that. So at this time, I don't see any major changes taking place on either campus at this point, because we just, the funding has really been put on hold for that. Now, in the minor disappointment category is that the Boston and Maine project is taking a little bit longer to get started than we thought. These are because of issues totally outside of our control. We're ready to go. We've done everything that's been asked. But again, it's just working a little bit more slowly, and we anticipate that will get going quite soon. Another fairly strong disappointment is that we do not have a contract for faculty and staff at this time. All of us believe that you work very hard, you're very deserving, you're very professional, you're very dedicated to our students, and we really had hoped that a fair and straightforward contract would have been reached at this time. I'm still hoping that those negotiations play out. We understand that everybody is disappointed at this time that hasn't happened. But I can't say how strongly I believe in the work that you do, and that you should be fairly compensated for that work, and that we hope that the process plays out in a positive way very, very quickly. Another small disappointment was really that the summer letter took a little bit later to get out, but we tried to do something new this time. We tried to really go digital with it. We really tried to put things together in a different way for that. And you know, when you try things new, they don't always come out quite as well as you want. But again, live and learn, we will get that. I have to tell you though that, you know, doing the video was just really uncomfortable. You know, you're sitting there, you've got bright lights on, you can see nothing. I've been up on stages before like that, and that's fine. If I get a room full of people, I'm fine, you know. But just sitting there in front of the lights, you know, trying to remember my lines and get them out there, it took about 47 takes, you know, for the first paragraph. And, you know, we'll work on that. But I think that this is really where we're trying to go, really trying to make it, you know, more of a digital environment and work more closely in that arena. Okay, I just want to also point out a few of the issues that we're going to be working on this year and that we're going to get started on with the team here. One is we're really looking at our funding and our resources very critically. Let me talk a little bit about where we are with that right now. So basically, public funding is about static. By that I mean we got a bit more from the state this year, but our costs went up also. So it's about a wash, right? More money here, more costs over there. There's really nothing more than we had last year to work with. And some of our other costs have been rising quite quickly too. We can only hope that oil prices stay down and we all see lower energy costs. I know we've locked in some lower energy costs for this year, so that should help out. We're also seeing, as many of you know, a decline in enrollment due to demographic changes, but also because of improvements in the job market. So this is going to go on for a little while, and we're trying to plan on that. But as you can see, fewer students means less revenue. So we have less money coming in on that. And we've really been working hard with the strategic enrollment plan to really try and manage our way through the decline, but not just accept it, but really do many things in a proactive way to reach out to our community, to recruit students, to bring more students in, and to do a better job of keeping the students that we have. So there's a lot going on to not just accept this enrollment decline that we can see coming from smaller cohorts, but to really work hard to overcome that. And I think what we're seeing is that we are declining less than the other community colleges in the States. And some of them are seeing very strong changes in their enrollment, and this then translates into big changes in the funding. So we're seeing sort of a modest, steady decline, and I think we can work with that. Now, this year, the board approved a 2.8% increase in the general student fee, and we had long discussions about how we could keep that down as low as possible. And I think this is a very modest increase. Now, what we're always trying to balance out here is we're acutely aware of the cost of education for our students. This is really something very important to us and something we take very, very seriously, because at the core of our mission, it's about access. And the cost of education is impacting access. So we try to keep that expense down. On the other side, we're trying to provide a high-quality education for our students. And sort of budgeting for mediocrity is not really the way we want to go. We want to make sure that if we're going to do it, we can do it really well and provide a first-class education for our students. On the other side, the board also voted to add $100,000 to the safety net fund, so there will be more fund for those students who fall through the cracks of financial aid or scholarships in one way or another, so that we can provide more for those students who are at risk of having financial difficulties. So again, it's a balancing act, but we're really trying to keep costs down and trying to keep those cost increases down as much as possible. We're also working hard to maximize our resources generated through grants and fundraising. We have a very strong grants office that has been doing an awful lot of work over the summer, and has just been helping us do a lot of work to submit grants and bring in more funding to the college. We also have a strong fundraising effort and a development office. And the more money we can bring in through grants and through fundraising, that frees up funds in our budget for other things. Now, they're not always permanent funds. We have to be cognizant of that. But we're really working hard to bring in additional funding so we can make those critical investments that we need to make here. So overall, we are looking at some declining revenue from declining enrollment. We're going to see some limitations on the resources, and that's going to mean we're going to have to make some adjustments. But that's things we're going to do really on an ongoing basis. So as conditions and the environment change, it is incumbent upon us to evolve and change as well. That we will have to be watching this all the time and realizing that if our resources are declining, we can't do all the things we did before. We have to be really looking very critical at what we can do best and what we should be doing. Restructuring is an ongoing process that goes on and is really the new normal for most universities. But what I can tell you is that with us, it's going to be an evolutionary, not a revolutionary process. And my pledge is that we will work through our shared governance processes and organizations here, that we will do this in an open and transparent manner. So whatever changes we have to make, we're going to put them out there, we're going to talk about them, we're going to see if we can find a way to make these work. And you never know. Sometimes we come up, we think it's the best idea, and this is the best way to go forward, and somebody else will come back and say, did you think of this? And we miss that entirely. We are always looking for those good ideas out there. And again, we have shared governance structures, and that we will work very closely through those organizations to make sure that we go about any changes we need to make in an open and transparent way. But there will be, as we go along, some realignment, some restructuring. I don't want people to be afraid of those terms because we are going to do them together, and we're going to do them openly and transparently. Okay, another issue we're facing, with our funding is really figuring out how do we fund the full-time faculty and frontline student support services that we need at this college. Full-time faculty are critical to the success of our students. There's no way to talk about it in any other terms. They are absolutely critical. As you know, I started my life as a high school social studies teacher, right? And I taught at a community college. That's where I got my love for working at community colleges, for working with these students. Any of you who were here on Tuesday saw that love of working with those students still burns very strongly within me, and that I am really here to make sure those students succeed. And I know what happens in the classroom is absolutely critical to that. So we are going to be working very, very hard to make sure we can fund those faculty positions. And I can assure you that Provost Sisson does not let me forget this and keeps that issue foremost. That's really part of his job. I know somebody, I ran into a couple people on Tuesday who started, as they said, complaining about a problem with their program. I said, it's not a problem. You are advocating for your program, right? You folks believe in what you do. And these people were advocating for resources that they felt they needed to do their program correctly and well. There's nothing wrong with advocating for your program. In fact, if you don't, that's when I worry about you, right? You should be. Now, can we satisfy every single legitimate need that's out there? No. It's just not possible. And it's always going to be a balancing act and one of prioritization. But we really want you to think about what can we do, what are the best ways to do it, and we need to have that critical and creative dialogue going on at all times. Now, what we've been talking about, particularly with Phil and with Darcy, is really talking about how do we develop a process so that when we go out looking for faculty, that we can really build diverse pools of applicants that will really help us diversify our faculty here at the college. Our student body is becoming more and more diverse every year, and we need to continually work hard. There has to be a continual effort to look at what we're doing, and if it's not working, change it, do something different. We really need to think about how can we build a diverse faculty, because I believe that those individuals that we have a diverse faculty, it really helps our students to succeed. That's very important. Not the only factor, but an important one, and we really need to keep working on that. So we will keep working on that as we develop a process for doing national searches over the next year, so that we really advertise widely, so we really get it out there that we are an institution that values diversity, and that people see this, as we do here, a great place to teach and a great place to work. So also, we're looking at how do we really provide those frontline services that really also impact student success. And so we're really trying to make sure that we put people in place in those critical places that make sure that we service students well, so that by the time they get to class, they are ready to go, and that if they have issues outside of class, we have support systems for them. We have some wonderful leadership programs at this college that do a great job. How do we scale those up? How do we really help every student with that personal attention that we try to give them here? Another issue that's really been consuming me a bit lately is how do we provide a welcoming environment for our students? The tag I like to use on this comes from Sandy Shugart, who's the president of Valencia Community College. He always says that failure starts at your front door, right? How do we provide a front door for our students that is absolutely welcoming? And if we look at the way we're organized in some of our facilities, they are not as nice as we would like, not as welcoming, not as inviting. So that's something we're going to have to work on together. And we're really, I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this yet. I know there was a space committee, but we want to have some sort of committee that starts to look at what we do across all our spaces. Now, in Lowell, as part of that $10 million project that got set aside, we were doing a utilization study of all our facilities. And we also did one for the Bedford campus. So we have a lot of raw information and really some good information on what's full, what's not full, where we have some space. So we need to be digging into that. And again, we need to develop a collective and representative group to look through this, and so that we can report out to people, collect ideas. I don't want this done in a back room, right? So how can we decide how are we going to use space here, and how we can turn the space into something that is really, truly welcoming for our students here? Because again, the principles are that if we have spaces that welcome students from the very beginning, this is where they will feel comfortable and at home, and they will succeed. Another one is really looking at how do we create some 21st century learning environments here. Again, I've been through a lot of the classrooms, walking through some of the buildings, and we have a ways to go. All right, so there's a lot we could do for that. Can we do that overnight? I don't think so. I have to be honest with you. But it's something I want to start chipping away at and looking at. I want to get a strategic plan of how we can really move forward on upgrading some of our teaching spaces. We're talking with the schedule about creating those larger time blocks so that we can do more interactive learning, more problem-based learning, more group work. Those take different spaces, and we need to create those because these are the activities, these are the pedagogical techniques that help build the critical thinking skills that our students will need to succeed in the 21st century. And those are going to be critical. We need to look very closely at how we use technology at the classroom, how we use technology to support, and how we use technology to assess what we're doing with learning. So those are going to be critical things that we're looking on. The last issue that we've started to focus on is how do we build a digital environment that will enable us to more efficiently and more effectively use information to help support student success. And by this, I'm talking about both building a culture of evidence-based decision-making, but also by building our capacity to use predictive analytics. There is a lot of information out there and a lot of studies showing that if we can get the information that we already have and put it in the hands of the practitioners, that's you folks, that you can much more effectively help students. So again, we need to find ways that we can harness this technology to really enable us to help our students. Again, our critical mission and our key mission is always about promoting student success, and that the world is changing out there. Our students are coming out of this different world. We know that it is a world being transformed by technology, by globalization, and by shifts in the culture. Our students interact differently. That's nothing new to you. They communicate differently, and they learn differently. So how do we find that way to meet them where they are, take them to where we know they need to be? That's going to be a critical task that we face over the next couple years. Now, in conclusion, I want to tell you about an article that I sent around a little bit that I recently read in the New York Times. It was called Rethinking Work. And the author, a professor of psychology, had a central question that simply stated was, how can we make work the kind of activity that people embrace? How do we get people engaged in their jobs? So his answer was by giving employees more say in how they do their jobs, by making sure we offer them opportunities to learn and to grow, and by encouraging them to suggest improvements to the work process and listening to what they say. This rang really true with me. This is the type of work environment I'm trying to really build at this college. So the author went on to say, you could really express this even in economic terms, and said, quote, if you're trying to decide where to make an investment, the best place to look is those annual lists of the 100 best places to work. When employees have work that they want to do, they are happier. And when they are happier, they work better, and it affects the company's bottom line. Our bottom line is student success. I want to create a place here where you are engaged in your work, you feel empowered to help us make decisions, and that you're energized about coming to work every day. Engage, empower, energize. It's really the path to a robust work environment, one, because we all know that we do meaningful work. We don't have to, this is a place without cynicism. We all come in because we believe in the work we do. How do we make it feel like you're engaged, that you're empowered, and that you're energized is really what we're going to try and work on. And last, but something that is really important to me, is that I want to thank you for your support. It is truly an honor to serve as your president, and that this is a great place to come to work every day and help our students. So thanks for coming today.